This is The Rumor Report with Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club.
So listen up.
All right. Well, Omari Hardwick was on the Pivot podcast, and he was talking about all the roles that he did and how Power was really the time that he finally started to make some of the money that he deserved. Now, 50 Cent did have to loan him money while he was filming twice. And here's what he had to say.
When was O good financially?
When did you look financially? Just like I know you have more to do.
Because I still haven't made what I should have made.
Yeah, bro.
I still have never made the money. No, the money. I've never made what I should have made.
But when did you sit back? You said, like you said, you talked to yourself and said, I done made it. The world knows me, and my kids don't never have to worry about nothing.
After Power.
All the movies you did before that.
I made $5.
I feel like there was the time 50 was talking about lending people money. It came out that he lent you money, and you were like, but I paid it back plus interest.
I think he forever just really, really respects the out of me for that. We just not taught that in our community. Barely did we pay anybody back.
I think a lot of us were in that situation where we worked a long time and got paid pittance.
What is pittance?
Yeah,
Nothing.
I don't know what that means.
This guy's
Is
just
that a
making
real
up
word?
words. Yeah. No, it's not a real word.
Pittance?
Man, shut up, man. You meant
Yes, it
pennies.
is. No, it's pittance.
What the hell is pittance?
Like
Google.
nothing.
Somebody
Let me
Google that.
this for
Spell
this.
that.
This guy just out here spitting pittance for no damn reason.
Oh, my
Pittance.
gosh. All right. Well, pittance. That's a new word.
It says pittance is a metal spike, bro, that is driven into a crack
Well, that
or
doesn't...
seam.
Yeah,
That
what's
sounds
wrong with that?
inexpensive.
It does. That's what a pittance
Pittance
is.
was a whole lot of nothing. We all made, we worked hard and made nothing.
Yeah, so he was talking about a lot of the movies that he was in. He was in Next Day Air, The Gridiron Gang. He was on Being Mary Jane. And even on Power, he was kind of the face of the network at Stars, right? And so basically, he still wasn't making that much money. And so, you know, he used Angela Bassett, who was on Fox's 911 for Scale. She was making $450,000 per episode.
I just want the record to show that a pitton is a spike or wedge, and in slang, it means a small protruding knob or buttoned.
I wouldn't want to get paid that.
What is wrong with you?
All right, now since we're talking about money, let's talk about Nick Cannon. I
And
actually
it's
spoke.
pittance, Pittance.
What?
Pittance. Yes, pittance.
Okay, what does that mean?
Look it up. It's a small portion.
You just told
Or
us.
amount, small portion
Oh,
or amount.
I don't think you pronounced it right.
I
Andy.
said pittance.
No, I think you pronounced it the way it's spelled.
Look at Envy with the vocabulary.
Oh, let me see.
Okay,
Oh, my
pittance.
goodness.
All right. Now, speaking of pittance, let's talk about Nick Cannon. He was on Money Pie, which is the podcast that I host for Acorns, and he talked about going broke after getting $200,000 from Will Smith.
At the time, I remember Will had a red Range Rover, and I was like, I want a black one. He was like, don't buy it. And I was like, yo, you just gave me $200,000. Like, and at the time, I think Range Rovers was like 60 bands back then. I was like, I'm getting this. And literally, that was probably my whole check. Not even a year. I totaled that car and lost it and was living back.
So you did do it?
I did it and was living back in my mom. And like, me and my mom was living in that condo, thinking where I thought I had made it and was rich and was going to be set for life. So, like, because Will Smith often tells his story about how he went broke after parents just don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I made $1 million, won a Grammy, and I was broke, you know, before this Fresh Prince. Don't, like, save this money.
He went back to making pittance. But to both of their defense, though, I mean, they were young, and a lot of lessons to be learned. Number one, you know,
Omari Hardwick was. Oh, you mean Will Smith? And
yeah,
Nick
Will Smith and
okay.
Nick Cannon, they were young. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, you don't realize that you get a check for $250. That means about 40% going to taxes. Then you got to pay agents, managers. So you didn't really get $250.
Not at all.
That's the most important thing to remember.
All right, and Jemele Hill was on Assets Over Liabilities on Revolt, and she talked about on His and Hers how she was making $200,000 less than Michael Smith. Here's what she had to say.
It's not about necessarily what you're worth, it's about what you will negotiate.
That's right.
And that was certainly a lesson in that. And it was because I started at ESPN at such a low salary, all right, to begin with. So, you know, one of those, we'll see if it work out kind of contracts, you know, is what we call a 2-and-2, a 2-year deal with a 2-year option. Worst contract I've ever signed, right? Because I think my first year's salary was $120,000 a year, but it's $120,000 as a independent contractor. The lesson that I learned is that, you know, I know it's ESPN, I know it's a big place, but you still, even with, you can't sell out for a name.
We've all had those. We've all had that. Let's see if it worked contract.
Yeah, that was my first contract here when I came to Powell.
Absolutely.
When I left Hot, I came in. I got the after minimum at the time. I think it was like $65,000 to work, do afternoons here. And there was people getting way more than me, but I believed in myself. I believed in my talent. Next year, I stuck them up, though, but...
But you know what is true, too? And they did studies on this. A lot of people, when they get offered a salary, they don't negotiate. They say 85% of people, if they would negotiate, they would make more money when they initially get an offer.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes we just take it instead of saying, okay, well, you know, I wanted to see if I could get this, or even going and asking for a raise, and we have to start doing that also.
I just took it. And the reason I just took it, but the reason
you took that pittance.
Nah, because I left Hot at the time and I didn't have a place. I didn't have a plan. So when they offered it to me, I was like, well, this is all I have. I'm gonna prove myself. I believed in myself that much. I'm like, well, I'm gonna prove myself, and then after the year, I'm gonna stick them up.
And it's all learning. It's all learning experiences. You know what I'm saying? Because you take the first deal. The first deal is to let's see if this works.
Yep.
And then in the process of that, they might come to you and be like, you know what? We're gonna give you this. We're gonna give you a little bit more money. You're like, oh yeah, I'm making more money. So then you might take that one, and then the next one is like, nope. Let me get me an agent.
Yep.
You know, the first job I ever had, I negotiated. I didn't even know what I was doing, and it worked out when I graduated from college. So, lesson learned. All right, well, that is your rumor reports.
All right, we got front page news next. What are we talking about?
Yes, imagine you get hired as a stripper for your brother's bachelor party.
Cat.
All right, we'll get into that next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.